Miyazaki Man Podcast, Episode 2, Moving to Japan to study at Keio University with the lovely Pepa. Coming up. Back in the day,
Yes.
the original Lucy Hartfield,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, Pepa here.
Definitely. It's so clean in Japan. That's maybe number one thing that you'll notice.
Hygiene. Good
Yes,
hygiene as well.
yes, I love that.
Oh, good times, good times. And yeah, you mentioned as well, you were very interested in Japan fashion. So tell me about it. Was it Harajuku fashion, Shibuya? What fashion are we talking about? Kimono,
Yeah.
cultural?
I think when I was younger, definitely the Harajuku style was something that really fascinated me. And I remember I was following like some pages, online or Facebook, and I was always looking at the pictures. But obviously now I've outgrown that phase and I'm not dressing this way at all. I'm way more modest, and like...
Have you got any past pictures? I'm sure everyone would love to see what you're talking about, Harajuku style Pepa.
I'm not sure I want to show.
Miyazaki Man Podcast Episode 2, Let's Go to Japan edition. Let's get this show started. Welcome to the Miyazaki Man Podcast. I'm with my good friend Pepa here. I met her originally in Cambridge, UK when we were staying together at my parents' student accommodation, and now we've reunited in Japan. Welcome Pepa to the show. How are you today?
Hi, I'm very good, thank you. I'm just relaxing after a long week of exams. So, yeah.
Absolutely, and that's because you're at Keio University at the moment, isn't that right?
Yes, I'm doing my master's, so it's the end of the semester right now. And
Wonderful.
yes, summer break is starting this week, so
Of course, busy
I'm
times and
happy.
then go off to enjoy. Well deserved.
Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah, so a little bit of background. So yeah, we originally met over 10 years ago in Cambridge in my parents' student accommodation, and at the time you were going to the UK to study English.
Yes, so I was doing my A-levels actually.
Okay.
When I arrived, and then from Cambridge I moved to London, and
that's
in
right.
London I did my bachelor's degree, and then after I graduated actually in London I stayed there, and then I was working in marketing and advertising for a few years, and then I decided to change my life and come to Japan.
Brilliant. Yeah, and just remembering back in the days, we were always interested in Japanese culture and anime and everything, about Japan in general. So what made you decide to make that big move, that big change to go to Japan?
So yeah, as you know, we always talked about anime, and I was also getting really interested in Japanese fashion when I was younger. And after I graduated, actually, and I started working, I decided to take like a month off work, and I came to travel to Japan actually in 2018. And then after I spent a month here, I was just doing like a solo trip, and I got really interested in the culture actually. And by that time, I didn't watch that much anime as I used to. So actually, I got more interested in the people and like the food and just how people live here. And I was actually doing couch surfing for a month. So I was staying with local people the whole time, and I made some Japanese friends too. So after this I thought, oh, I really need to go back to Japan and I want to live a bit more there. And then I just started researching, and I have a friend in Korea actually who went to university, and she told me to research and maybe they have some scholarships in Japan. And yeah, that's how I found out about the
Indeed. And
programs.
yeah, we'll get onto all those good points as well. But just a
Yeah.
curious point, when you first moved to Japan, so when you first went to Japan, what would you advise anyone going to Japan for the first time to really enjoy their trip? How long would they need to stay? What would you recommend that they do?
So yeah, like I said, I was there for a month for my first trip, and I think even a month is probably not enough to explore everything. But I did manage to go from like the north part near Hokkaido, so from Aomori all
Wow,
the way down to Kyoto and Osaka and Kobe, the area. So
amazing.
yeah, I think a month, like at least 3 weeks.
At
For
least two
anyone
weeks.
who's doing their first trip or just trying to explore more, yeah. definitely. And the Japan Rail Pass is really good option too, because I was using it for the Shinkansen and
Oh yes, the
the
bullet trains.
fast
Yes.
trains. Yes, so that was a really good option too, to use and just to travel around.
Absolutely. No, I think that's highly recommended. And the Shinkansen is an experience itself. You know, they don't have bullet trains in the UK, and it's very
No.
spacious, very airy, and very fast and comfortable. They're comfortable as well.
Yes, they're so like, yeah, you have so much space and it's just so nice and relaxing inside. I love it.
Brilliant, brilliant. And in terms of going to Japan, how was your Japanese at the time when you came for your first holiday?
When I came for holiday, actually, I signed up for Japanese classes in London. So
Mm.
I think I studied like for 3 months before I came here, but honestly, I didn't know anything. I just started like practicing just a little bit of hiragana and katakana, but
Hmm.
even at that time, I couldn't really read much. So I just know how to greet and just say hello, and that's it. It's so different when you come actually because
Yeah.
people talk like so fast. So I was just a bit like, oh, yeah.
Indeed, and you mentioned integrating with the people and bonding with people as well. Were people friendly? How did people treat you when you first came and interacted with them?
I think I mean, because I was staying with locals and through couch surfing, I feel like a lot of the people are very like open-minded and they want to make more international friends. So that really helped because they're not like as shy as some like local people could be
Sure,
because a lot of people feel shy to talk in English or to try. And I
sure.
think the friends that I made, they were more open-minded to talk and just show me around. So yeah, I think that definitely helped.
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you mean. So when I went for the first time as well, even with limited Japanese, contextually you can kind of understand what they're trying to say, and mannerisms you can point out, and people are really nice and friendly. Did you find on your travels that people in different areas of Japan were different in the way they behaved or the way they interacted, or?
I think for my first trip, not so much, but since I started living here, now I notice the difference between people a lot more, yeah. But for the first time, I guess because I was just like so, like, I was just trying to make a lot of friends and like travel, drinking, party, and that kind of
Izakayas and
stuff
whatnot.
too. So,
Yummy
yeah.
hoda.
So I think everyone in general was like really like friendly and just trying to socialize. But since I moved, and I'm living in Kanto now in Kanagawa near Tokyo.
Oh,
So
very
people
cool.
here are very different to people in Osaka or like
Sure.
Kansai area. So I can
Absolutely.
definitely see the difference now. Yeah.
And we could probably do a whole episode on the differences between the people and how fun it is, and the local the local Ben, Mia Ben, for example, is very interesting. A lot of words when I speak it in Tokyo, they don't know what I'm talking about, so
Oh
it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
good
yeah.
fun.
My
Good.
flatmates are trying to teach me some of them, but I cannot remember or understand it yet.
It's like British slang, isn't it? When you say
Yeah,
British slang
yeah,
anywhere else in the world, I'm completely misunderstood.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just so many.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you decided to study and go to Japan seriously, so how did you go about getting the scholarship and doing the application? And was the whole process easy? Like, what would you advise to people trying to follow your path?
So the process itself, like you just have to follow the steps and like what's on the government website, really. But as I'm sure you know, in Japan they love paperwork and a lot of
Oh yeah,
documents.
old school admin. Yeah, yeah,
And
of course.
like living in the UK or in Europe in general, I didn't expect I have to fill in so many paperwork and everything has to be on paper as well. You can't do like an online application. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit frustrating because we're so used to doing everything online. And yeah, just had like stacks of documents like to prepare. It was yeah, just a long process. And I think overall it took me about like probably a year to
Hmm.
and from the moment I started like researching about universities, preparing the documents, yeah, filling them out, sending them because you have to send them to Japan directly, and
Sure.
like that takes time too. So it just yeah, it just takes a long time, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing in Japan that's very interesting. Like there's a process for everything, and you just have to follow the steps, and you get there.
Yes, they're very, very adverse to change. The way they've always done it, they prefer to keep it that way. And there's a slow shift towards, new technology and online forms, etc. I remember when I signed up for Miyazaki Bank. I don't know if you had the same experience, but they gave me this like big document pile. It must have been about 30, 35 sheets of paper. And after I got to about 15 of them, one of them said, "Are you Yakuza? Yes or no?" And I was like, "Obviously no." And they said, "Okay, you don't need to fill in the rest then." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I
Very
guess
upfront.
they're trying to be careful, but
Indeed,
but yeah,
indeed, yeah.
for us, like for foreigners, I feel like it's a bit of a shock seeing how many documents we have to like do all the
Yeah.
time. And I'm lucky that I'm not like full time working yet, and I'm just a student because like I don't want to imagine doing like tax work or
Oh
anything like.
yes. Self-assessed
I
tax
just
returns. And
I just see my friends doing it, and I already have a headache, so I'm just like,
Yeah, one day, I'm sure we will go through the same process.
"Mhm, yes.
So yeah. Speaking of work, then, so coming to study in a university, but you've actually started working part time in various roles as well. So how did you go about finding the jobs? How are they so far, and what are you looking forward to in the future doing?
So actually, when I arrived the first year, I didn't really work, and I tried to focus on just like settling down and like exploring the areas around me and just yeah, figuring out everything with university. But then since like basically COVID's gone down and like the government's been more open
Hmm.
minded and everything's kind of open, I thought, oh, okay, maybe I can like start looking for something part time. And actually, I hit a profile at, do you know Upwork, like the freelancing
Yep, indeed,
website?
yes,
So
yes.
so that's where I like found some part-time work, and right now I'm basically teaching English to children, but also I'm doing
Okay.
like business English classes for a
Oh, brilliant.
company.
Very
Yeah,
diverse.
so
Yeah.
yeah, that's nice. Yeah, very different. But it
Yeah.
doesn't take too much of my time as a student as well, because I know a lot of my classmates, they do part-time jobs at like Combini or
Sure.
like cafes and this
Mm.
kind of work, but that takes a
All the
lot more
shifts.
time.
Yeah,
So I
indeed.
wanted something that doesn't take too much of my time, of my studying time,
Hmm.
and just kind of, yeah, to support myself a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's a good call because obviously you need the time to really enjoy Japan, settle in, make friends, and go out and have a life. But at the same time, working does give you a little bit of disposable income to have fun and play. And
Mm.
speaking of which, how was your success on those UFO toy grabbing arcade games? I remember we had a discussion around that before.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. I think I have an unhealthy obsession with that.
Oh yeah, I love it. Tell me about it.
No way. But yeah, that's the dangers of living in Japan for sure. I really love going to the game center, so
Mm,
that's really my.
your thing.
Um, but yeah, I've been practicing. I have to say, I had success last month. This month I avoid going because I'm spending too much money, but but I try to do like once a month, so that's my
Sure.
time to enjoy and like not to overdo it too much. So
Absolutely. And you
yeah.
make a very good point. I think for anyone who's interested in Japanese culture, who's a hoarder, who loves collectibles, you can see surrounded by me, it's a
Yeah.
dangerous place. Everywhere you look, I want that. I'm not spending, wait a minute, that looks beautiful. I got to get
Yeah,
it.
exactly. There's always temptations around us.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Japan is the land of temptations, and they're so creative and interactive, and things that you didn't even know you needed or existed. They're
Yeah,
everywhere, and you're like, oh, it's okay. Just one more, that'll do.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of which, temptations as well. Tell me about the food. My God, the food. Tell me, what would you like? What have you discovered? Japanese cuisine.
Mm, oh, oh my God, it's just so much. I don't even know where to begin. But I like cooking a lot actually.
Mm.
And when I'm with my flatmates, we try to like and like combine different cuisines because they like to try, because I live only with Japanese people mainly, so they
Brilliant.
really like to try like some of the European foods, and like,
Sure.
but I like to combine sometimes different flavors, but we did
Fusion.
yeah, so just like make something new. I think my favorite, especially now in summer, is soba. I really
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
eating like, yeah, cold soba right now.
Soba, so good.
Yeah. It's also very healthy, and you don't feel guilty eating it like ramen. So I feel more like I feel so good when I'm eating it, you know.
Absolutely
And
healthy
then
and tasty and quite cheap as well. It's good value, isn't it? Japan food. You get a
yeah,
lot.
exactly. Or near the stations, there's always like really good like soba shops. So it's really good. But I also
Absolutely.
like in the winter to eat more like maybe okonomiyaki,
Oh yeah.
or yeah,
Okay.
or I like yakisoba when we go to
Mm,
festivals, or yeah,
sure.
just like the festival food, you know.
Oh yeah, it's like street food in UK, except from better.
Yeah,
Like they have festivals. You wear. Have you worn the yukatas and kimonos and all the traditional stuff
I've
out and
I've
about?
worn it. Yes, I really like wearing it. It's so nice. Yeah, it really gives you like a really nice feeling, and I love festivals because I don't know, they kind of give me some like anime vibes, you know, like I feel like I'm in a movie.
A fairy tale, a
Yeah,
world away from a world,
yeah,
immersing yourself in
yeah.
Japan.
That's why I really like going to the typical festivals.
Of course, of course. No, I completely understand. And you've had the best of all worlds, really. You've been around Europe, you spent some time in Cambridge and UK, in London, in and around Japan as well. What would you say are the main differences that's worth highlighting between life in the UK and life in Japan?
It's so clean in Japan. That's maybe number one thing that you'd
Yeah.
notice.
Mhm.
um,
Hygiene, good hygiene as
yes,
well.
yes, I love that, and maybe I think just the way people communicate is very different here. That's the main difference for me, because people are more like, first, of course, they're more polite and like respectful of each other, but also
Mm.
there is a lot of like hidden emotions, and you have to be able to read the room really well. And
Sure.
sometimes like people don't say what they think, but you kind of have to guess what they're thinking and what they want to say to you. So that's really difficult actually for a foreigner, but even for Japanese people themselves can be quite challenging.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. You have to kind of build the empathy and the compassion and kind of contextually understand what's going on because they
Yeah,
might not always communicate it, but it's there, it's still there, and you got to, yeah, I completely agree.
exactly.
I felt
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah. I ask a lot of people for advice when it comes to the communication part, because I don't want to get into like awkward situations. But like, but even like some of my classmates, when I asked, they couldn't really give me advice. They just said like depends on the person. You just have to like really listen and to look and observe, and
Yeah.
um, that's how you learn, I guess. Mm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you acclimatize and adjust to environment, based on the culture and the people. And you're very lucky because you live with Japanese people, so it's going to become second nature, right? Because you're immersed with them every day in and around their
Yeah.
presence.
Yeah, yeah, I think that definitely helped for sure. Just to be surrounded by locals, and I have also like actually most of my friends are Japanese to be honest. So I think that definitely helped me because yeah, they taught me a lot of things, and yeah, I think
That's
depends,
really
like, because I think some foreigners who move here, they kind of stick with other foreigners, or
mm,
maybe they find it they're either shy or maybe challenging to find Japanese friends. But I really wanted to like just immerse in the culture, and yeah. I don't know. I
I
also
think
maybe because I always been interested in the culture, and maybe it's more easier for me to kind of make Japanese friends. I don't know.
Well, you've always been very bubbly and very easy to talk to, so I completely understand, the ability to
Maybe.
adapt. I think your natural, natural ability to travel, communicate with people, always smiling, always happy, always positive. I think that's a very good attribute to making these friends. Whereas maybe some of the foreigners might get a bit of a culture shock at the beginning because they might not be confident in their Japanese or approaching people because I think in the West, it's much easier to approach a stranger and just start interacting, whereas Japanese people are more generally shy. So you kind of have to
Yeah,
break the ice a bit and, warm them up a bit and before they
definitely.
open up. So it
Yeah.
might be that kind of thing, right?
Definitely, yeah. That's yeah, a lot, I feel like yeah, for foreigners, a lot of Japanese people can be a bit shy in the beginning, but after that, they're really like,
They're lovely, yeah,
yeah,
when they open up.
yeah.
And in terms of communicating with them as well, so what advice would you give people who are learning Japanese? What's the best materials, best methods? What worked for you and what didn't work for you?
I mean, I'm still learning, so I don't know for me because before I came here, I studied Japanese in London, but I realized that when I signed up for like language schools and like classes, but I realized that I didn't really study kanji before I came here, and I didn't know how important it is until I arrived here, and that was a big problem for me because
Those
when I
kanji
came, I was like,
areas.
wow, everywhere there's just kanji. I thought I can read, hiragana and katakana. I was like, oh, now I'm good,
Mm.
But then, wow, I was like, no, I'm not ready for it. So actually, it's just like in the past 2 semesters, because I actually have classes at university, and that's where I'm taking Japanese now. So when I started at university, they really forced us to study a lot of kanji,
Sure.
and in the past 2 semesters, we've been studying a lot of kanji. So I guess. If someone's starting, I would say as important like hiragana and katakana are, kanji is even more important to learn, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps you to understand at a greater level and greater depth. When you know the kanji, you can start to make things make sense and break down the,
Mm,
the barriers to learning it. I completely agree with you. And also, I believe trying to test yourself and go beyond, even if grammatically incorrect, trying to get your message across and taking notes of new words is very important because I remember with my limited Japanese, my go-to phrase was "tabun daijoubu," which is absolutely awful because I said it against every question and it was just contextually so wrong and never got anywhere with it. Maybe okay for those who don't understand.
yeah. But I think once you move here and like you listen to more people talking and you constantly surrounded by Japanese, you definitely start to understand more. Like for me personally, I feel I'm still very shy to talk, and like I try with my friends, but like this kind of fear of making mistakes. Like I'm trying to overcome that, but it's still kind of
Mhm.
difficult. But I can understand a lot of the things they're talking about, or like I can read way more than when I first came. It's just like I guess we have to really try and like be brave and
Sure, that's it.
practice talking as much as possible. That's my goal now.
I think you're completely right because people are afraid to make mistakes, but actually it's very very good to make mistakes because
Mm,
otherwise you're not going to learn from it, you're not going to benefit, you'll have no one to correct you, and in your mind you can't kind of process the correct way to say it or getting the correct response. So I think it's completely right to say what you can say and ask for more time or ask someone to speak more slowly or repeat it because that's what
mm,
conversation's about, right? It's not always about getting it right first time or you know not making a fool of yourself. It's just interaction, it's communication. So,
exactly, yeah. Just try really, and even if you make mistakes, I guess just keep trying. We'll get there. And I guess it helps to watch a lot of like Japanese shows or TV
mm,
where they speak more
media, yeah.
naturally, so you can really like feel the communication, the way they people express themselves. Because I feel like there's a lot of emotion when people talk, like especially on TV or some programs. Yeah.
That's right, that's right. And actually, sometimes even making mistakes can lead to some beautiful, memorable moments. So, like, there was this thing in Miyazaki called the Great Foreigner Miyazaki Race, where you got in teams and you had this kind of scavenger hunt around Miyazaki. And my team was like the weakest Japanese team by far. And we went to this park and they said you had to look for this giant hashi, and that's where the next note is. And we thought hashi meant chopsticks. So we were looking for giant chopsticks in a park. Actually, they meant the bridge.
Oh,
So we were stuck there for the whole day just looking for
just
chopsticks.
looking. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
that type of funny situations can happen for sure. Wow.
Oh, good times, good times. And yeah, you mentioned as well you were very interested in Japan fashion. So tell me about it. Was it Harajuku fashion, Shibuya? What fashion are we talking about? Kimono,
Yeah.
cultural?
I think when I was younger, definitely the Harajuku style was something that really fascinated me. And I remember I was following like some pages, online
Yeah.
or Facebook, and I was always looking at the pictures. But obviously now I've outgrown that phase and I'm not dressing this way at all. I'm way more modest, and like,
Have you got any past pictures? I'm sure everyone would love to see what you're talking about. Harajuku style Pepper.
I'm not sure I want to show. But yeah, I think that's kind of like where I was really like fascinated how like people are so free to express themselves, in such crazy ways like that you wouldn't even imagine. And I mean, I'm still fascinated every day when I'm like, if I go to Tokyo or on a night out, like how people are just like so, like the style is so different and everyone's like, they don't care, just like they want to express themselves and like different hair colors or, yeah, some like
Yeah.
crazy, like,
Oh yeah, even the
yeah.
grannies, even the grandmas like have funky purple hair and their shiny
Yeah.
Asics or New Balance.
Yeah,
It's
I love
amazing, isn't it?
that. Like, I think that's so great. Like that people have found their like individual way to express themselves, and they're not like scared to, yeah, be. But of course, there's the other side where you see a lot of like minimalist styles, and people are very
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I feel like I can recognize different groups of people depending on their style,
Oh yeah,
and
grouping
you can kind of
yellow,
see the
yellow, all this.
personality of the people, like.
That's really good. You are the perceiver of the kind of personality fashion, the fashion police of Tokyo. You
Yeah.
know what group, what styles, the kind of Lolita old style, the kind of fashionable granny, the sport. I gotta admit, my fashion sense is absolutely tragic. It's terrible. I'm just sporty English chav, wear my hoodie, wear a vest or whatever. But I'm trying to get into the Japan culture. Isn't there a shop in Shibuya? There's like a really tall, fashionable shop. It's a number like 21 or 7. Was it 79,
Oh,
16? I can't remember.
Shibuya 109?
That's the one. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Have you ever been in that shop and
yeah,
tried some
yeah,
of that
yeah. Of course.
stuff?
Yeah, yeah, there's in every shop actually is different styles. So for example, if you're into the Harajuku style, there's a shop where people can find all the crazy dresses and like pink and like, yeah, it's so interesting, and there's different like styles for everyone. So you can just go to the shop that you like and find like your style.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something for everyone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, very interesting.
definitely. Mm.
Actually, no, that brings back some memories now. On one of my trips to Tokyo, I went into the male version of one of those Shibuya fashion shops, and there's like these kind of model-like guys all done up. They've done their eyebrows, they've done their hair, really, perky and nice. And they're like, "Come on, we're gonna give you some good style. We're gonna put you in some good clothes." So they put me in lots of different clothes to try to sell me the things, and I ended up buying what's it called? Go Star del Fuga jeans. And the problem with those jeans were there's like a whole range of sizes and brands, but even the biggest XXXL size, because I do a lot of weightlifting and squats and stuff, they were so tight. The jeans were so tight. They look really good, but I had to squeeze into these things, and I was like, these look awesome. I've been here all day. I've got to buy something. I bought them. They look amazing, but yeah, these guys, they're all done up,
They're
eyebrows,
like, yeah,
like
yeah,
makeup,
they look
everything,
so
right?
great. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one thing for even I feel like even guys in Japan, they like to like present themselves well and
Yeah.
like before you go out, like just make sure like you look nice, and like regardless of your style, everyone just tries to put some like to make some effort and yeah,
Make an
to
impression, yeah,
yeah,
looking good.
yeah, yeah. Definitely. Mm, I think, yeah, I think I care more now, especially if I'm going out in Tokyo or in Yokohama.
Mm.
Like, I definitely make sure that I'm kind of like, I don't look too crazy, like I'm just like well
Don't
presented,
stand
just
out
like,
too much.
yeah, I brush my hair and like, because I see so many, everyone's like with nice hair, nice like clothes, everyone's trying to look good. And yeah, before, I think in the UK, I was just like just more casual. Like I don't know.
Casual and easygoing. Whereas here, it says something about you, the kind of fashion that you wear and the way you present
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
It definitely makes an
definitely.
impression.
For sure, there's a difference there. Yeah, I definitely notice, especially if I'm on the train, I see everyone's looking so nice. Like,
And in the subway station, right? People are going 100 miles per hour everywhere, but you see all types of people, all types of fashion, all types of accessories. I saw
yeah,
this like tiny girl in huge boots. The boots must have been this big. It's the kind of long dress, and they wear even in summertime. Whereas in the UK, you take off, you'd expose some skin, get suntan. Here they cover up. They cover up with big hats and all that kind of thing.
definitely. Actually, that's one thing I've taken here because the sun is so strong here, and like the summer is
Yeah.
really hot and humid. But even though like people are still very careful to like cover up and like not to. Even I have one of the
Expose.
UV umbrellas. Yeah, because I feel like here the sun is so strong compared to the
It
UK,
is, isn't it?
and I don't remember like having like I mean there was some hot days, and I think this year of course there's like heat wave in Europe, but
Oh yeah,
apart
40
from
degrees. Yeah.
that, I don't think it's been that hot, and
It rains a lot in the UK.
yeah,
It's rainy and muggy half of the time.
yeah, but also that like the summer the temperatures are not that high, like
No, it's not, isn't it? It's about 20, 25
yeah,
max, maybe,
yeah,
usually.
exactly. So when you move here, I feel like it's just so hot in the summer, and it's all summer, like for
Yeah,
3 months, like just
it
heat.
is. Yeah, before rainy season. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you're right because I think, is it just me or in Japan, are there less clouds? It seems as though the sun's very concentrated on
Yeah,
you. There's no clouds blocking, I feel. And you get a
yeah.
lot of sunstroke and heat stroke and easily get tanned.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's, I think there's a lot more sunny days here for sure, apart from the rainy
Mm.
season. And even like autumn and winter seasons, they're like really good. Like the weather is not rainy or yeah, always like sunny. I don't know. I'm in Yokohama, but I noticed the weather
Mm.
here is really great most of the year.
Wonderful. Yokohama, is that the place where there's that really nice Chinatown?
Yes,
In
yes. It's very nice.
Oh, I gotta go. Oh, I would like balloon and wait. I'd put on two jean sizes or something if I lived in Yokohama. I'd eat every day, just
Yeah.
stuff my face.
Yeah, Yokohama is great. I really recommend. It's a nice like port city, and there's so
Mm,
much to do around. Beautiful views, and yeah, we have the nice Chinatown too. So many shops.
indeed, indeed. Oh, speaking of the kind of keeping fit and trying to get fit, if I remember rightly, one time didn't we try that insanity workout program in the kitchen
Oh,
in the student house in Cambridge? We were like just prancing everywhere and
yeah.
just
Oh my
sweating on the floor.
Yeah, I've been really motivated now. Also, I go to the gym, since summer, springtime. So I've been also, yeah, I keep up the good work.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Feel the burn the feeling. What kind of things do you do in the gym? Is it cardio? Is it some of the free weights? Is it
Uh,
the stretches and yoga? Or
yeah, I try to different things every time. Some days I do just cardio, but I generally don't do like free weights because I'm not a pro, so I just try to be careful. So I just use the machines and yeah, just work
sure.
out there. But yeah, I used to do a lot of yoga too here. Or I would go to the park sometimes to do some exercise. It's nice. I see a lot of people doing it,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think they're really friendly. Like you see a lot of even elderly people running in the local parks. It's beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. The
Yeah,
weather's good.
definitely.
It's just the humidity that tires you
Oh
out
my
really
God,
quickly, I feel.
yeah. Summertime is the worst. That's why I signed up to the gym because I thought, oh my God, in
Yeah.
June and July, I definitely don't want to go out in the park because it's too,
Aircon,
yeah,
aircon.
yeah, it's too much. But I read actually that in Japan nowadays, like a lot more people are signing up for the gym and they're becoming like really
Okay.
like crowded compared to before.
Mm,
So
sure.
it's a new trend,
Popularity is
yeah.
increasing. Very trendy, very trendy.
Mm.
Yeah. And in terms of like your next holiday, your next destination in Japan, where would you like to visit or what would you like to do? Is there something on the bucket list?
There's so many places actually I haven't been to in Japan, and like I think because in the past like 6 months I've been so busy with like school and working. I think maybe after summer in like October I want to go like maybe to Okinawa. That's like my next
Yeah.
next on my list for sure. And I also want to visit some of the Tokyo islands nearby. You can
Okay.
take the ferry, and there's
Mm.
I think it was Ojima and yeah, Nijima Islands. They were really nice, and the beach looks really nice there too. So I really want to go to
Ah.
the islands. But yeah, I definitely have to do more trips around in my free time.
Yeah, no, you definitely should. Like Okinawa is a great place. I went there one time with the missus, and the ocean is crystal green. It's crystal
Mm.
clear, and it's beautiful. The people are really friendly. The food's really fresh. I think the place we went to was it the Rizan Diamond Resort Hotel or something? Lots of water sports. Oh, it's fabulous. You need to go to
Wow.
Okinawa. It's really good.
Oh, now you make me book the trip today, you know?
Yeah, book it. You only live once. Go for it. Why not?
Yeah, it's yeah, definitely number one on my list, so better make that trip.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of trips as well, like because obviously the location and proximity of Japan, especially Kyushu down south, you can
Mm.
actually visit a lot of the local areas very quickly. Like where we are in Miyazaki, it's actually quicker to go to Korea, South Korea, than it is to go to Tokyo. Very
Ah,
nearby.
yeah, true.
So,
Wow, yeah, I've been yeah, actually on my first trip to Japan, I also did a trip to South Korea because it's so
mhm.
easy to go with a plane. I remember, yeah,
Yeah,
it takes like an hour, I think, with a
yeah,
plane or
very close,
something.
very close,
Yeah,
and cheap.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So definitely, yeah, I really want to go to Kyushu too, but it's just far. So I always think, oh my God, I need to like get a train or book a flight. I'm not sure what's better.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. Like, book a flight to Fukuoka to start at the top
Mm.
and obviously the capital. And then I think there's a nice kind of overnight coach bus which brings you in and around Kyushu, and you can stop at places for like half a day, experience the place before jumping on the coach bus again and going down south. And it's really,
Oh.
really cheap. So that might be the way to do
Oh
it.
wow, yeah, thanks. I'm gonna look into that because I know a lot of people advise me and that like some of my flatmates they take the night bus to go
Mm.
to their hometowns and even to yeah to Osaka or Kyoto too. But I've always been a bit like I'm scared to take the night bus. But everyone's telling me like in Japan like the night bus is okay, like you can sleep and like there's enough
Mm.
space and everything. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, from my experience, it is quite spacious, quite comfy, and also they're not usually booked to capacity. So you do have a lot of space in between
Mm.
you and other people. You've got a bit of surroundings to yourself. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I think it's worth an experience.
Yeah, that could be my next new experience in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, would you say now then, Japan is your long-term residence now? You'd like to stay in Japan. It's where you're meant to be.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to keep an open mind because like my plan was first to stay because my visa is for 3 years. So after
Yeah.
graduation, I either have to find a job or go back to Europe or the UK again. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've been thinking a lot lately, so I really need to start like thinking seriously because actually like job hunting for graduates is quite like a long process in Japan in
Competitive,
comparison.
isn't it? Very competitive as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's very different to the UK because I like in the
Mm,
UK you can find a job within like a month to 3 months or four
sure.
months, but I feel like I know some of my classmates they're looking for like a year or more, so it can be like just a really long process again. So I'm not sure. I have to think, and also I'm not sure if I want to work for a typical Japanese company. So if I do end up working here, it will be more like for a startup or international company or do something on my own. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out, you know?
Absolutely, and I'm sure when you go through that process, you can share with everyone, the pros and cons, what to do, the best way to approach it, how you succeeded. I'm sure you will succeed in anything you do. So I'm very confident there. Worst comes to worst, guest host on the Miyazaki Man podcast. Why
Yeah.
not? International company.
Thank you.
Open vacancy, putting it out there. But yeah, no, it's been really really fun to catch up. I'm really positive about hearing everything of your experience in Japan so far. I'm sure we'll do many more episodes. everything to do with Japan. I know we kind of bonded at the very start over our love of fairy tale. We showed them some very cool pictures and episodes back in the day.
Yeah.
The original Lucy Hart video,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, Pepa here.
Definitely.
Yeah, and as my thank you for coming to the show, I can't actually see what you can see on the screen because it's the first time I've used this software. But this fairy tale war scroll here, I'll send it to you in the post. It's quite a nice little.
Oh, really?
You see it. So my gift to you as a thank you for spending your time with me this morning.
Oh my God, thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you.
Absolutely,
Yes.
and yeah, no, wish you have a fantastic day, and we'll catch up very soon.
Yes, thank you so much again. It was nice talking to you.
If you like this podcast, please remember to like the video, it really helps out. Subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell icon for the newest videos. I want to say a special thanks to all the patrons supporting this channel. A special shout out to Sophia P, A Aldridge, Ash W, Insufficient Yogurt, Master Yao, Alex M, Dom P, James Y, Santan Superman, T, Cobin, and the next could be you. Their help really lets me do more ambitious projects and makes me expand the channel and ultimately and hopefully provide more entertainment for coming days. It's the Mushroom Boy Fund. All proceeds go to my little man, Mushroom Boy. And just a reminder that every patron, regardless of tier, will get a free goodie from Japan. It could be a war scroll, a music box, a figurine, some snacks. I'll make sure I'll show you awesome love in the short term, and hopefully you support the channel in the long term. Much appreciated.